Good morning friends, welcome to economic classes. In the last class we have discussed about monotonic preference, MRS, that is marginal rate of substitution, and some of the characteristics of indifference curve. So in connection to that second chapter, that is the theory of consumer behavior, today we'll continue with the optimal choice of a consumer. Friends, before understanding what is this optimal choice of the consumer, just we recall the budget line and the indifference curve. What we have understood in the budget line? The budget line which was showing where a consumer was directly consuming the different combination of goods and services within the availability of income. That one side we used to take the total income must be spent on the consumption. So after consumption of the goods, the level of whatever the satisfaction he was deriving, that we have seen in the budget line. The same way in indifference curve we have seen that by the combination of different bundles or the different combination of two goods where we try to get maximum level of satisfaction, right? So in the budget line where we have seen income and the cost must be equal in the prevailing market price. The same way in the indifference curve where we have seen different combinations and that used to give us maximum level of satisfaction. So today we are discussing optimal choice of a consumer. So just look at this one here. Optimal which means effective, efficient, effective chance. We are doing a choice with related to effective. We are doing effective choice, which means within the availability of income that we have to try to get maximum level of satisfaction, right? So it is very common behavior of each and every person or each and every consumer. All of us, we want to gain maximum level of satisfaction within the level of income. So that is how a consumer, how he optimally select choice means what? Select, that how he select with what the income what he has with him. So here to understand this optimal choice of the consumer, we have to see that how a consumer income equals to cost. In return to that, how a consumer gets to maximum level of satisfaction. That is how we are going to understand in this optimal choice of the consumer. So here to understand this optimal choice of the consumer, economists have given some of the assumptions or the conditions that we have to keep in our mind to understand this optimal choice of the consumer behavior. So let us come to the different assumptions that what we have to understand this optimal choice of the consumer behavior. Let me go through with one by one. The first one here, the optimal choice of the consumer, that is assumptions. The first one assumption is assumptions. So we have to go through with some of the assumptions here. In that, the first one I am going here, income of the consumer must be given. Income of the consumer given. The first condition or the assumption we have to understand here is that the income of the consumer must be given. How much of income that a consumer has, that must be given here. Say for example, here if I take for example, a consumer may have 20,000 rupees, or he may have 40,000 rupees, or he may have 50,000, 10,000. So how much of consumer have a income, that must be given well in advance. We must know that what is the income of a consumer. That is first condition we should know before understanding the optimal choice of a consumer. And coming to the second one, what is the second one? A consumer must be rational consumer. He must be rational. Rational means what? He should take a decision on his own. How much of income he has, by spending that income, how much of level of satisfaction that he is going to get, that must be taken the decision by himself only. So in that point of time, what we are going to say, he must be rational. He has to take a decision on his own without the influence of anyone else. So that is how we are going to say he is a rational consumer. The second condition or second assumption that we are going to do here, he must be a rational person who can take a decision, who can think on his own, and this is how it must be called as a rational consumer. And coming to the third one, price of the goods and services must be assumed as constant. That is how we say price must be constant. Price must be constant. Friends, you know that usually in the market the prices are not going to be constant. These are not going to be constant, right? So what it means here, we have to assume, there is a one assumption that we have to say price must be assumed as constant. Then only this optimal choice of the consumer is going to execute. Otherwise, no. But in reality, we know that the price of different commodities in the market are not going to be same, or it are not going to be fixed. These are always fluctuating due to different or several factors. As we know, as it is going on the corona presently, that due to that reason the prices of different basic essentials only increasing, and that makes the price to be not constant. But here this is the main problem, that we have to assume one thing here, price must be assumed as constant. This is third condition or third assumption. Come to the fourth one here. Fourth one assumption that we are going to do here, that is what? All the goods are homogeneous. All the goods are homogeneous and divisible in nature. Divisible in nature. So one more assumption that we are going to do here, all the goods are homogeneous. Homogeneous, which means which are similar, which are same, and that must be taken one of the assumptions here. And one more with the connection to that same assumption, that divisible in nature. Divisible in the sense what? We have whatever the goods we are going to purchase, that goods must be divided into different parts here. But usually this will not applicable for live things. Live things in the sense any of the animals you may take, or any of the birds you may take. If you are going to cut into two pieces, that is not going to be useful. So that is what here, all the goods what we are going to take into consideration, that may be non-living things, that must be homogeneous. And other one, that how we are going to call, those must be divisible in nature. So this is the fourth one assumption that we are going to do here. And the fifth one we are going to do here, there is one condition which is given to us that should be fulfilled here. What is the condition here? The condition is A greater than B, B greater than C, and A greater than C. So this is the condition where we have to fulfill. Once if the condition is going to fulfill, then that point is going to called as optimal choice of the consumer behavior. Okay, so this is also we have to keep in our mind. What are the conditions here? A must be greater than B, B must be greater than C, and A must be greater than C. So once if this condition is going to fulfill, then we can accept this point as a optimal choice of the consumer. Well, so not only this, we have some more other assumptions also. By having these as a main assumptions in our mind, let us go to directly to understand this optimal choice of the consumer with the help of diagram. So let me go through with the diagram here. I just draw the diagram. Well, the diagram which consists of two things here, one is budget line and the other one is, that is what, indifference curve here. So this is OY axis and this is OX axis, X, and this is Y. Well, let me draw one budget line on this connecting to a OX axis and OY axis. This is the budget line, BL. In short form, we can also write this as BL, budget line. So here we'll draw some of the indifference curves here. Firstly, I'm going to draw one indifference curve. Secondly, exactly touching to this. And the third one here like this. So I'm going to name to this IC1, IC2, IC3. So total 3 indifference curve I have taken here for our understanding here. I just give some of the names for these points here. This is I take A, and this is I take B, and this I take D and C, and this I'll take E. So total 5 points I have represented in this diagram. That is what? A, B, C, D, E. So total 5 points are there. So let us ask one by one now. Before to that, let us confirm ourselves that OX axis. What is OX axis? So here it may be a different combinations of apple you may take, and OY axis it may take different combination of banana. I just write here, this may be apple, whereas here it is banana. So two things we are taking here, apple one side and the OX axis, and OY axis which consists of banana. So two combinations we are going to take, and that basis only we have to understand optimal choice of the consumer. So let us see now. So let us ask one by one now. The question, first question arises in our mind, that is point B optimal? The first question I am going to ask here, is the point B optimal? How do you say that whether it is optimal or not? So if you consider that as an optimal point, you must know that you have to get maximum level of satisfaction within the level of income. So in the diagram, this BL budget line which shows your income level, and whereas these are the different indifference curves, and as you know already that different indifference curve shows different level of satisfaction, as we already understood in the budget, that is what indifference map, right? So here in these different indifference curves, that they give different level of satisfaction. If I just analyze these three, IC1 which gives a lower level of satisfaction compared to IC2 and IC3, well, right, then IC2 which gives lower level satisfaction compared to IC3 and which gives higher level of satisfaction to IC1, whereas coming to the last IC3 which gives higher level of satisfaction compared to IC2 and IC3. So these are the different indifference curve which give different level of indifference, that is a different level of satisfaction, and this is the income level. So let us go through with the first one, as I already asked here, that is point B optimal? So if you just focus on the diagram, where is the point B? And this is the point B. So this point B which is exactly on the IC curve 1, that is indifference curve 1, and which is below to that budget line. Of course, you may say that you can purchase within the income level. So do you think, does it give higher level of satisfaction compared to E, C, A and D? No, I don't think so. Why? Because point B which is even can purchase within the income level, but it is there on IC1. So as we know, IC1 is less than IC2 and IC3, hence I don't accept this, this is rejected. So point B cannot be called as optimal point until this gives a higher level of satisfaction within a level of income. So point B is not our optimal point. So let us ask the same questions to other points too. So come to the second point, that I directly ask C and E, that is, this is C and this is E. Can you consider these as the optimal point? Do you call these are the optimal points? Just observe the diagram again. As already I told you, once again I repeat that if you want to call it as an optimal point, you must say that you should get maximum same level of satisfaction within the level of income. Now observe the same in the diagram now. C is here, E is here. Well, so C and E which are exactly on the indifference curve 1, as well as these are exactly on budget line. Of course, you may say you are spending exactly that what we already decided here, income exactly equal to cost. But here you see the level of satisfaction what you are deriving, that is less compared to IC2 and IC3. So you may spend entire income, but the level of satisfaction is exactly what you already got in the point B. So this is also rejected. Point C and E are also not that is what the optimal points. Why? Because these are also again same on indifference curve 1. So these points are also rejected because these offer us lower level of satisfaction. So come to the next one, point D now. So I go through the third one. Is point D optimal? Is that point D optimal here? Point D, where it is there? You see it is there on IC3, indifference curve 3, which gives higher level of satisfaction. Then can you call it as the optimal point of the consumer here? Point D? No. Why? Because point D which is beyond the budget line, which means you cannot purchase it. Of course, it may give you a higher level of satisfaction where you can't purchase that. That is what we call it as a unaffordable point. This is what unaffordable or unattainable point. Unattainable point, or in another time word we can also call it is as a overspent. See, point D cannot be considered as the optimal point. As I already mentioned, of course it gives higher level of satisfaction, but what is the problem here? The problem is income, that we don't have that much of income here, isn't right? So point D, even if it gives higher level of satisfaction, we can't accept it as a optimal point due to the reason that we don't have that much of income. So that we call that point as a unattainable point or overspent. The same way you can see this point B also, which is below to income, which gives lower level of satisfaction. This point can also be called as underspent. Point D can be called as overspent or unattainable point, whereas point B can be called underspent. Which means underspent means what? You have more income but you are spending less and you are getting one level of satisfaction which is IC1, which is again we have rejected. So here I just come through with this. Point B also rejected, point C, E also rejected, and point D also rejected. Then which point can you accept as an optimal point? Yes friends, that what you are guessing it is correct, that is point A. Point A, let's come to this one. Point A, is it point optimal? Point A, is it optimal? Yes, you see, we have rejected all the points. You may not simply take a conclusion that all points we have rejected so that A is optimal. How do you take a chance here? No, don't try this way. So just apply your mindset and see that how you can accept that as an optimal point here. So let us come to this one now. Exactly, this point A is on budget line, which means we are spending our income exactly equal to the cost. And the second point, what we have told here, that it is exactly an IC2, indifference curve 2. So indifference curve 2, which is higher level satisfaction, that gives higher level of satisfaction compared to IC1, and it may be less to IC3. But what we are deciding out of these 5, which one is the optimal point here? So we have rejected all the points here and only remains A, and that gives higher level of satisfaction within the level of income. So friends, we are going to accept point A as the optimal choice of the consumer. So how you consider the optimal point of the consumer here? Point A gives higher level of satisfaction within the level of income. Because of that reason only, we are considering point A as the optimal choice of the consumer. We have rejected C, E, D, B and D because of 2 factors to consider in our mind. These may cover within the income but not giving higher level of satisfaction, or these may give higher level of satisfaction but this is beyond our income level. So due to these factors, we are rejecting all these points except A where it is giving higher level of satisfaction and where we can purchase within the level of income, and this is how we are going to call it as a optimal choice of the consumer. So remaining things we will discuss in the next class. Until, take care, bye.